Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is 6 red flags for any relationship. Okay, if you're in one of those relationships where you're constantly kind of questioning things, and even though you feel like your relationship's heavy, with just heavy with issues and just constantly drowning and stuff, you still may be in a healthy relationship. You just haven't worked things out. But if you're in one of those relationships where you're trying to say, is this a red flag? Like, should I be paying attention to this? I'm going to give you 6 things that are going to help you, decide on those kind of things, right? So it's one of those things that, if the emotional intimacy in your relationship could use a boost, pay attention to these 6 signs then, because it could be it's time to leave or it's time to improve and work on things and have a conversation. Number 1 is you find yourself suspicious. Sometimes trust is broken suddenly, like when you discover a betrayal or you catch a partner in a lie. Other times it wears away gradually and you may not even realize it, right? But you may have urges to check your partner's phone or find yourself silently doubting where they say they are going. However, it occurs when trust is lacking. It erodes over time and it erodes emotional intimacy in a ton of ways. A comfortable and predictability are lost, causing stress. The ability to count on someone through thick and thin starts to go away. Your mind may start wondering over time. Constantly wondering what you don't know emphasizes the distance and distress between you, which typically will grow worse over time. So it's important, like I said, that you just kind of look at these things and you really pay attention, okay? Because number 2 is you censor yourself on a regular basis. Different couples share different levels of detail about their daily lives. Okay. Some couples are completely open. They throw it all out there. They talk about anything. Other couples we're here to be intimate and maintain that. So we don't want to talk about certain things that might ever take away from that. So they won't do that. Okay. But maybe the ins and outs of your grooming rituals are not meant to be the stuff of dinner conversation. But when you find yourself on a regular basis keeping meaningful things to yourself in an active, deliberate way, that's a problem, okay? Maybe it's because of embarrassment or fear wherein the other person wouldn't love you as much, okay? It's important that you have an open relationship, okay? But keeping things safe in that kind of way will prevent you from enjoying intimacy, okay? Open relationships enjoy intimacy a lot more than narrowed down informational kind of couples, okay? Number 3, if you frequently feel misunderstood, if you constantly say things and there's just a flat out disconnect, no matter what's talked about, your philosophies are on different standards. It almost feels like you're in a different time zone when you talk about something, or your desires, make you feel judged when you mention them. Or let's say you want to start a new career and when you do, you ultimately feel like they're not going to support you. That's a flag. You need to pay attention to that, okay? Number 4, you feel like you don't know your partner well anymore. Okay. Any relationship, the couple consists of 2 individuals. These individuals can be expected to grow. It's important that you grow over time, but you can also grow apart. Okay. But ideally, growth and change happen with understanding, communication, and transparency with a couple. If you're one of those people that you start talking to somebody and everything's good, and then you go away and you go to work for the day, but when you come home, it starts off real formally. Hey, how was your day? Oh, my day was good. Oh, thank you for asking. That's not a relationship. That's an acquaintance. That's not the same thing. And you don't want to be living with a roommate, okay? This can often drive a wedge between partners, leaving one feeling like they're in a relationship with a stranger. Number 5, you have a sense of going through the motions, okay? And this is a pretty big one. This is when you're ultimately done. You just don't know it yet. Even the closest relationship can occasionally get stuck in a holding pattern. When other responsibilities get particularly stressful, it's uncommon to go through it's not uncommon to go through phases where, conversations with your partner, they just don't seem to get any deeper than daily, itineraries and logistics. You're there to share intimate feelings. So in other words, if you come home and you've had a hard day, it's not just what was hard. It's, oh man, I totally know I empathize with how you feel. I get it. Man, things suck. It's because you connect with them on a deeper level than just the logistics of what happened. Okay, this makes long-term partners feel like roommates when you don't do that, like I said in my last thing. Okay, but more problematic is a longer-lasting feeling of drudgery and not knowing your partner on a deeper level. The worst thing that couples do, this is up there with the top 3, if I had to mention them, are couples who avoid the 400-pound gorilla in the room. Let's say you got in a fight. You haven't talked in 2 weeks. When you talk, you act like that didn't happen. And you talk as if you don't need to address that when you come back. If somebody told you something and you got mad through a fit and walked away, or if somebody told you something and you haven't had contact with your boyfriend or girlfriend in a while, when you do contact them back, it's okay to have one conversation about how you're doing everything, but the very next conversation better be about, I want to talk to you about your email and my perspective and how I feel, and I want to know how you're feeling about it. If it's not that, then don't contact them. Don't talk to them about it, because you're not being respectful of what they told you when they ended things with you or ended that conversation with you, whatever it is. That's a red flag if you're not doing that. That's going to be, and if you're listening to this and somebody avoids things like that when they contact you, that's a red flag. Number 6, I want you to, think about this one really well. Resentments and festering. Resentments are festering. Okay. Yes, the dirty socks on the floor trope teaches us that couples have housekeeping pet peeves and occasional friction and habits and things like that. But a serious threat to emotional intimacy arises when, instead of discussing and resolving, like I say in all of my videos, these annoyances that come up, one partner just starts silently seething about them. So what happens is all these little things have now become this pile. So you have this just gigantic pile of things in front of your relationship. So imagine if you're sitting at a table and you're talking to somebody, and there's a pile of something in between you two. You can't see as well. You can't see the other person talking to the floor anymore. It's because you need to start talking about them and bring this pile down. Okay? Because if you don't do that and you're the one with the problem, you're being passive aggressive. When frustrated, instead of openly discussing things, the real issue can be a death blow or an emotional intimacy. I mean, you're literally stabbing your emotional intimacy and letting it basically wither, because it's much more potent than smelly socks that started in the first place, right? When you have this gigantic pile. Okay? So those are 6 red flags that can kill intimacy in your relationship and ultimately end your relationship. So pay attention to them. And if you're currently seeing these things and you want to work on turning them around or find out if they're serious enough for you to actually walk away, contact me at the email linked in the description below. And if you just found this information of value to you, you can show that appreciation by clicking on the email link below. And I will talk to you soon.